Brandon, when do you upgrade your computer?
I don't.
Ever?
No, I upgrade quite often.
But
I buy the computer
right
when the new socket comes out, because Intel changes sockets like every 4 years. And you buy 2 price steps down from the top, so that you can get like $120 processor. You wait 2 years, and you put another $100 processor, and magically your computer's twice as fast.
So then, how do you watch and how do you know when there's a new socket available?
They usually start announcing the new socket like 6 months before it's going to come out. And they'll be like, oh, the Sandy Bridge is coming out. There's going to be a new socket.
But how easy it is to upgrade the CPU these days? I mean, I remember.
You literally.
Do you have to mess around with thermal?
No, you flip the little lever and you pull the thing out, and you put the new one in, and you flip the lever back.
And you can only do this with PCs, not Macs.
Yeah, because Macs don't give you all those BIOS settings to change what the clock settings are.
And Jake, how frequently do you upgrade your computer?
About once a year. I throw away the one I have and get a new one.
Why do you throw the old one away?
Well, I don't throw it away.
Right.
Stop using it. But I do have like a pile of 6 or 8 of them that are currently not used.
So then why don't you upgrade like Brandon does?
Because that's way more work. The return on investment, I could get like a lot of times a better screen, I could get more RAM, I could get a bigger hard drive, I could go from a drive with moving parts to SSD in a lot of cases by upgrading the entire machine for not much more or less money.
So then why is your way more cost effective, or is it, Brandon?
Well, from a desktop perspective, it's more cost effective because I'm just upgrading the CPU. If I was a gamer, then I'd have more advantage in like getting the bundled with the video card and faster RAM and stuff like that. But for productivity, usually the only thing you care about is, oh, I got a faster CPU.
What about notebook computers then?
Notebook computers aren't usually upgradable.
But you've upgraded CPUs in notebook computers.
Not recently, because for the most part, they don't come apart enough to let you do that.
So then, Jake was just mentioning beforehand that more people would upgrade their RAM or hard drive before they'd upgrade their CPU. Doesn't that give them just as much bang for their buck?
There's not a big difference between 2 gigs of RAM and 4 gigs of RAM unless you're playing a game or working with massive databases.
Or have 500 tabs open in Chrome.
Do you have 500 tabs open in Chrome on a frequent basis?
Maybe only 20. But having lots of browser windows open does impact the amount of RAM that you consume, and more RAM is better in this scenario.
So then why would someone want to upgrade their CPU at all?
Ask Brandon, I don't know. I would just get a new machine.
So you're thinking it's actually cheaper or better to get a completely different PC, just to paraphrase, than it would be to upgrade as you go along?
You could probably find scenarios where that would be untrue, but considering that all of the components tend to get refreshed, your RAM gets faster, you can get an SSD hard drive now at rates that are not insane. The CPU probably has more than doubled, or you get more cores. For the video editing stuff that I do, a lot of times it's easier just to swap everything out than to swap out just the CPU.
The part that makes it hard now is that because everybody bundles Windows and Office and 10 billion pieces of software, when you upgrade a laptop, you're buying a bunch of software you already have most of the time. So unless you're waiting between, I bought a new laptop for Windows 7, I'll buy a new laptop for Windows 8, you're rebuying a bunch of stuff that you don't need when you're doing that. That's the big part. With a desktop, I can swap out the parts and not have to buy all of the software. With a laptop, you can't really buy a laptop with no software. Even the people that are selling laptops with Linux are charging you $65 for the Linux license, so they're only $60 cheaper than the Windows version.
I think you have a Mac user back there. They're crying.